Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of the Hippie Dippy Show. I'm one of your hosts, Cassidy Bowker.
Oh, that was professional.
Woo-hoo!
And I'm another one of your hosts, her husband, Bo Bowker.
And I am the third host and their live-in housemate, Jeffrey J. I'm coming in from my bungalow out back.
Yeah, his bunker,
Yeah.
underneath his bungalow. We've quarantined him. Rental agreement.
That window is a green screen. That's not a real window.
Yeah, we don't give him windows.
Yeah, it's to make it feel like there's an outside.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in on YouTube to watch us and iTunes and all the other podcast places to listen to us. We are the Hippie Dippy Show, and things we talk about often sound pretty crazy. That's what we do here. All right, we're weird.
Yeah, we're weirdos. We do all we consume things that people say are natural, but who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Jeff's mostly talking about his sex life. Sorry.
We always have to go there, huh? This is like how we start the show. Every week we have to have a sexual innuendo or what?
I'm pent up. My wife has really been taking this sexual distancing stuff seriously. 6 feet at all times. Meanwhile, I'm 6 inches at all times. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Bo, you are in a mood today, and I love it.
I'm sorry. That's upset.
It's
smile.
No. She's wearing one of those masks over her underwear.
What?
Yeah.
You got a little mask down there. Nah, you got to stay away. Now I'm gonna do that the minute Emma gets home.
You're gonna put on a mask down there?
Yeah, one on the front and one on the back.
Oh! I kind of want to see a picture.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh.
You lost a lot of his pictures, but this could be the very first one. You lost a lot of nudes when you lost your phone, and so hey, let's bring the nudes back. Start it off on a good one. Take a picture front and back. Send it to me. Hey.
Oh my.
Right?
With the mask.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I did lose my phone. I did not. However, as I've gotten older, I take less nudes. I haven't taken a nude. What would you call it, a nude? I haven't taken one of those in ages. I live with my partner. She can see it. I don't need to text it to her. But
Hey,
yeah.
Jeff, can I get a nude? Yeah, it's right here. Just take off your shorts.
Yeah, I'm naked. Yeah, all the time here. We're fine.
Are you?
Yeah, we're naked plenty in here.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
You wearing pants?
I am wearing pants. I am definitely.
Prove it.
Prove it. Prove it.
Wow, look at that
Oh my
move.
God.
Wow, that looks like a fake leg.
That does.
You
That's
really
a fake
did.
leg. Jeffrey J just
I wonder if
put
I can.
his head.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can get them both up.
I
Oh,
need to take a drink of water.
this is where something breaks.
Oh my God. Jeff, I don't know. I want to know what you can do.
Hilarious.
You know when you laugh and you get a little snot because you laugh so hard. That's what just happened. Excuse me.
I think we're all delirious because of the craziness of the weekend.
Dude, we had a birthday party, an illegal birthday party. Not really. I don't know if it's legal. Here's the thing. I don't know the rules. Like, and I know that makes me an irresponsible citizen, but I don't fully know all the rules. People are talking about like phase 2 of COVID-19 and all, and quarantine and stay at home, safer in place, and all that stuff. I don't know what phase 2 means. I don't know. Things keep changing. We're in LA County and in California, obviously, and like there's special rules for us. I don't really know what they are. Because for the most part, I don't like this doesn't affect me. Is I know that people
Mm.
are going to hear that and be like, selfish, you're a murderer, you're a silent killer.
Well, let me say what happened a little bit. So it was
We,
the twins'
yep,
birthday.
yep,
Zach and Bernice.
yeah.
It was their birthday, and so you had a party at at a park that, by the way, is its own county. It
I
is
mean,
the largest park I've ever been to in my entire life.
Real big park.
huge.
You get lost. There's like 7 parks inside the park,
Yeah.
let
They really
alone.
are, yeah. Every
Yeah,
time we go, I'm like, I've never been to this part of this park. Yeah, it's big ass park.
it's huge. So when we go, first of all, which is amazing too, because when you're talking about social distancing, I mean, in the amount of, first of all, massive fields that they have, it
Mm,
seems like they have 20 massive fields. That doesn't include the playgrounds, that doesn't include all the other stuff. And we're talking like soccer field sized huge fields.
yeah,
So then
yeah,
you get tons of people out there, and people are literally hundreds of feet away from each other.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It was amazing. So we could all be together, but everybody was incredibly socially distanced. So you didn't even, we all had masks if we needed them, but you didn't even get close to people.
No,
Yeah.
and here's another thing about the mask. And, first of all, I thought it was a little bit more responsible to have a party at the park where we're outdoors, right? Where there is a lot of space. As you mentioned, the park is huge, versus in our tiny little apartment here,
Yeah.
right? Everyone cramped up. Nah, not going to happen. So that was that. Got the masks, you know, in the back pocket just in case, but and also too in case anyone else at that park was uncomfortable. But
Hmm.
no one else at that park was uncomfortable. If anyone had approached us, we would have popped the mask on, totally compassionate and understanding. But everyone else at the park wasn't wearing a mask, and it wasn't this pile of unsafe people breathing all over each other.
Completely unnecessary.
If you come down with COVID, that's going to go viral.
Literally.
Add it to my whatever video you guys are gonna make.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
We're gonna friggin' smear campaign you so hard.
Yeah. I will say that I was scared to go out there. Not scared. I was scared of what the rules were because I didn't know myself. And Emma had said like, "Hey, it's against the law to go out without a mask right now." So I had mine ready to go for whatever situation. Everywhere else I go in LA, I'm wearing a mask all the time. But I'm going in stores, and I'm if I'm going out, I'm going around people, and it's inside is to run an errand. So I'm
Right.
always
Yeah.
wearing a mask.
And yeah, and like if I go to the supermarket, like
Absolutely.
obviously, I mean, I think you have to, but like I respect the
Absolutely.
institution or I mean the establishment, whatever their policy is. I mean, your place, I'm gonna wear a mask. I get it. Like in yeah, um, and I get it. I get what we're doing. But at the same time, like there's certain things I do think that there's some overkill happening. I think like when people are driving alone in their car with masks on, I'm like, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, there's certain things like that where I'm like, I don't.
I will tell you that I have done that plenty of times. I'll tell you why. Because I don't have gloves. We don't have gloves. We only have masks. So if I go to the store real quick and I touch a bajillion things, I don't want to put my hands right on top of my face right after I've just gone to a store and touched a million things and then take off my mask and go like this. So if it's a
Yeah.
When I go to multiple places, I leave my mask on to then
Yeah.
go to the next store and then come, and then on the way home I take the mask off. But I don't take it off in the middle of in between stores.
Well, and I don't know. I'm in a weird place too, where it's like I'm not like, yeah, like I want to be exposed to COVID, just like put it in my bloodstream. Like, I'm not like that, but I'm just confused right now. Like I'm confused as to what to do, as to what to do with my kids. Like, I mean, we don't take them to the store because I don't want them wearing masks really, and um, I don't want them to just see a bunch of adults in masks and be like, "What's going on?" Like, So
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see how things shake out, and it's like, wait, what's going to be the new normal? Like moving forward, what are things going to be like 6 months from now? Because at that point, maybe that is going to be how life is, where everybody's got masks on all the time.
And then we'll explain it to them then.
Exactly.
Right? We have our own version of explanation that we share right now. It's just about how, when they ask to go to the grocery store with us, when they ask to go to Gymboree, when they ask to go wherever, we explain Mother Earth is resting right now.
Yeah, she's on her period.
She was a little sick.
Longest period ever.
Yeah, and they relate it to Moana. And they're like, okay, Mother Earth, she's just okay. She needs to rest. She needs her heart back.
Yeah, Maui stole her heart.
Aww. The Rock piece of shit.
But why do we need to go there if we don't eventually have to go there? So I understand other children are older. Other children were actively involved in like school, right? That they have to go back to, that they need to understand. Our children are just barely turned 3. They don't really need that until they need that.
Right.
Yeah, and you don't wanna. It's just hard to know too. Plus, I mean, bottom line too, kids their age, they don't want to wear a mask. They don't know what danger is. They don't know what it is. It's an uncomfortable. Just like put on shoes. It's uncomfortable. You don't want to wear it.
Right. My kids, there's no way if I put a mask on my kid that it's staying on. Like, there's no way it lasts more than 3 minutes.
Then what are you going to tell them to get them to do that, right?
Yeah.
You're going to threaten them?
Yeah.
No, not happening. Also, number 2, so I have a question for you guys. And this is something that I've seen in some memes or what is that called? I don't know. I've seen them occasionally. Remember when smoking was a big deal? And I did this myself. When everyone was smoking and Joe Camel was all over the place. And then they made the shift to anti-smoking campaigns and ads, right? And as a little girl, I remember riding my little bike around the street, and I would, go past a neighbor, or maybe I'd be walking by the grocery store, someone smoking, and I would go, like pretend.
I can't.
Did you do that?
I would never
did that
have
as a
you.
kid. I did that as a kid.
No, I didn't care. My mom smoked.
My
mom
God.
Her too.
No, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I couldn't wait to smoke.
What?
I couldn't wait. I got those candy cigarettes from
heck yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, those were the cool people. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
There was a moment in time when I did that. And then there was a couple of good number of years when I smoked me some packs. But
Yeah.
but when I was a kid, that's what I did. My point is that, somebody tweeted something saying like, and supposedly this was supposed to be sarcasm or something. But anyways, we should be teaching our kids, to go out in the world, and if they see someone not wearing a mask, say really loudly, why is that person not wearing a mask, Mommy? Are we going to get sick?
I hate every single thing that's happening right now. Hey, just train your kids to be permanently passive aggressive forever.
Thank you. Exactly. Thank you.
Right. Yeah.
No.
I mean, this is a real thing that's sort of going on. It's like, and that idea of weaponizing your children, like, it's also weird. I don't know. It's like the mask issue, whether or not you wear a mask has become like a political issue. It's very strange either way. I don't know.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you too, because I still I'm helping out an old boss at his restaurant. And so I deal with some customers, and everyone who comes in has their opinion about it, and they all want to tell you. And as a person who is helping them out, you then have to basically agree with exactly whatever it is they say.
Oh, yeah.
And half the people are no mask people. I'm not going to wear one. You have to go outside. I'm sorry. The law is they can't come in without a mask.
Right.
Sure.
Oh, the people who force their way inside without a mask.
Oh, man.
Every time it happens, it's just like, and it kills Jeffrey J inside, because I am so sweet to customers. I
Mm.
just am, and I want to make their life. It doesn't matter what menial task I'm doing. If I'm doing it for a job, I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability, and I'm gonna have great customer service. And so when people yell at me, oh, I had somebody yell at me. I've been told
Mm.
to go F myself very recently.
Wait,
Couple,
why?
um, because they couldn't. This lady, oh, it's happened many, many times in COVID time. Because when you try and tell somebody they can't do something because of the law and because of my boss and health reasons, they
Yeah.
lose their shit. And a lady told me to go F myself, because I had to take her order outside. And at one point, she starts coming at me and she's like, "You said I could come in and pick," because I said you can come in and pick it up on the phone.
Sure.
She comes without a mask. So I have to do the transaction outside.
Yeah.
She she starts, "So you lied to me. You lied to me." And here's the thing. I am a sweet person,
You are.
but I will manipulate you.
Ooh.
So when she started doing that, I started doing this.
Puppy dog eyes.
I puppy dogged eyes like she attacked my soul. And I made her feel like shit. And I apologized to that lady so profusely, and I said I think everyone's just on edge right now, and I know I am. And this lady apologized to me like I've never heard anyone apologize in my life. And when I came in, I went to my coworker and I'm like, that bitch apologized to me.
Oh my god.
But I'll tell you, and the whole point of this was that everybody has their opinion on masks. Everybody wants you to agree with them.
Right.
So
Yeah.
one person will come in the next day and say, "I can't believe it. This is so scary. I can't wait till we get back to normal." The next person will come in and say, "Masks are so unhealthy. I can't even believe it. We're wearing them. Masks are so unhealthy for you. They're killing us." And then the next person will say, like, "I'm so glad you guys are being safe." And it doesn't matter what you say. I have to agree with you.
Right. Yeah, well, and you're in a particularly difficult place being at your job. You know what I mean? And having to respond
And you're a
to it.
server.
Right.
You're a
Yeah, and it's worse than politics. I firmly believe it's worse than that. It used to be, you don't talk about this, 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 and this. Masks. It's the number one thing. Someone starts talking about it. I just sit and wait to hear what it is that their opinion is so that I can say yay or nay.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I've sort of come to is like my belief is that if you're gonna go and be a patron of an establishment, you respect what they do at that place. Which
Yes.
is how I've always felt about smoking.
Yeah, that's
I've
great.
always I've always believed that every establishment should get to make their own rules on smoking. The state and whoever else, they shouldn't have to tell you whether or not you can do it, right? And I, as a consumer, get to decide, wait a minute, do I want to go to this place that allows smoking? No, I don't. Like it's gonna be gross. I don't want to eat around that if it smells like an ashtray. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna go elsewhere. But if you as a business person decide that this is best for my business, I want to allow this, then fine, go ahead. Now, so and I would assume that most places would want masks in their establishment, right? I don't know. Like, and again, who knows what it's going to look like in 6 months? I really have no idea. No, nobody, I don't think really does. And but I think it should be a situation where we've got to respect. Okay, that person doesn't wear masks. That's their thing. I am a mask wearer. That's my thing, right? But at the same time, there's this view of like if you're not wearing a mask, you're spreading disease and you're spreading the virus, so you're part of the problem and blah 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 blah. And that doesn't totally keep me safe if not everyone's wearing a mask.
So I feel that, again, my opinion, that when you're in the comfort of your own home, you do whatever you want. When you do go into places that are communal places, like the grocery store, restaurants, whatever, you follow the rules that are presented by those places, that are presented
Yeah.
by whatever. just because I do feel comfortable not wearing a mask doesn't mean that you should feel comfortable not wearing a mask. And if I go, I don't know where, and 20 people are wearing masks, and I walk in the only person not wearing a mask, I will grab that mask out of my backpack, put it on my face immediately. And do you know why? Because I have respect for the people around me. It's not about me. I'm not going to be there standing tall and making a firm point. I can do that in my own
Yeah.
world, in my own platform. I don't need to do that and put other people, in a place of discomfort.
Yeah, if everybody is like, yeah, that's a great point. Also, too, if you walk into a room and there's 20 people in that room, you should all be wearing a mask. That's a room crammed with 20 people in it who have all been to many, many communal places.
Totally.
And and I also do think, hey, it makes sense if people are coming and going all day long, from delivery drivers to patrons to everybody who works in the kitchen to the busboy who takes public transportation to get to work, to and from. Yeah, wear a mask. It doesn't hurt. You're only coming in to get food for a second, and you're protecting people. When you go to a park, whenever it's out in the open, you're fine. You're
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question, Jeffrey J. Since you're in the service industry and I was in the service industry for a good number of years too, I think God knows how many, maybe 8, 7, or 8 total. Do you feel like, listen, I used to have serving nightmares all the time. I saw a post recently and someone was talking about how you think serving nightmares were bad before. My serving nightmares are through the roof because my anxiety's through the roof because people are now coming in. And just like you're saying, everyone's got an opinion, everyone's upset. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. They do want to do this. They do want to do that. And at the end of the day, you're taking your mask off to eat your food, and while you're eating your food, have a conversation. I'm not
That's the
standing
thing.
there.
None of it makes sense.
It doesn't really make sense to me to have the restaurants open. And so some restaurants are saying, I was just talking to my mom who's in San Diego County, she's saying a lot of the restaurants there are saying that it's pointless and we're going to stay only pick up.
That's what we are.
It's
It's takeout only. And that's why I'm coming in to help to do that stuff, is to just do the takeout only. That does make sense. Um, Takeout for sure makes sense because you can come in, pick it up, and immediately go home with it. They never have to take off their mask. And also, I do curbside too, just come straight out to the car. I'll sign it for them and everything. Literally, they're just taking a bag.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I don't. And another thing I just want to say, because I think maybe it came off as negative, is that people aren't all upset. In fact, one of the reasons I love doing this, even though it takes up some of my time right now, is A, it gets me out of the house, and because I don't have to do this,
Right.
but I do it right now because it gets me out of the house, gives me a little bit of space for my partner, which is something that's healthy to give each other the room to have the house, etc.
Totally.
And the people who do come in, the people who talk to me on the phone, I'm that moment of outside interaction for them. So I'm so friendly to them. Hey, how's it going? I know everything is weird. Yeah, it's the same conversation every time. Yeah, it's weird. We can't wait for this to be over. Yeah, I'm just so glad to be out of the house. I'm so glad y'all are open. Me too. You know what? I'm just happy to be here. I'm not making anywhere near the money I used to make. In fact, I'm barely making it. But in that moment, I'm happy to have this conversation with you. I'm glad we're okay in this moment. We're two people providing some sort of connection in this moment,
Mm,
and that is lovely.
beautiful.
And then they don't tip.
I know.
And I still have love for them because maybe this was the one meal that they got to treat themselves to, and they really don't have a lot. And
Yeah.
that's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah, so we're trying to find some sense of normalcy, right? As things phase open, slowly but surely. So, yeah, at this party, it was so lovely. And it was so lovely, I feel, because of the company, right? Because of all the people that were there. And we kept it intimate and small. We had maybe families that were there with their children.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey J here, sweet little Jeff, brought 10 kites. And so, yes, we were in one of those 27 huge ass fields. All 10 kids were flying their kites and running and running and running. God, that was like an hour of kite flying. It was a cool thing. And I keep saying this.
The adults were super into it.
The adults were running around with their kids. Everyone's engaged. I mean, everyone's talking about how I haven't had that kind of physical activity in months. We were totally winded. Bo felt like his body got hit by a pickup truck. Mine too. Rolled to death.
Totally.
But it felt like to me, and maybe this is a weird comparison, but it felt like to me like the end of Fight Club, that last scene when all the buildings are exploding and it's the most beautiful sight. and maybe it's bad, but it's the most beautiful sight in cinematography. And then watching all these families with their kites in the middle of the field, and hey, maybe it's bad, but it was the most beautiful, beautiful experience I've seen, and everyone was so full of joy.
That is not what I was going for.
Well, but it makes sense though too if you think about it, because the sort of point or part of it at the end of Fight Club is like they're resetting everything. Like his whole point is to like reset everything, right? Like wipe everything out so we can I almost knocked over a giant water.
Yeah.
So that we can reset everything. And countless people have talked about, like at the little birthday party, random people that I've seen when I've like taken the kids out, like to go hiking since things have opened back up in that way. Like people just like strangers being like, this is nice, right? Like everybody's just so excited to be back to some sense of normalcy, and to get more social interaction. And another reason why I say like none of it makes sense is because like, so now you feel safe? Like what changed? I know that there was like there are spikes and ebbs and flows, and I get that. But at the same time, like I think there's so much fear that has been induced. And I'm not saying that the coronavirus isn't a real thing or that it doesn't have real health effects.
Because it does.
Because it does. Totally. Yeah, totally. But at the same time, like I do think that like there's more panic and fear than needs to be. I think a lot of the things don't make a lot of sense. I think 6 feet doesn't make a lick of sense to me. Like,
well, it does.
It does not.
Well,
and there's no way. I read other articles that say that it can travel like 200 feet.
Well, let me tell you why that makes sense.
By the way, we always say like, by the way, Jeff's transgender, which adds very little to this podcast. But saying, by the way, Cassidy's a nurse genuinely applies in this and is good to know.
That's so funny, Jeffrey J. By the way, everyone, I'm a little bit of a nurse. I'm kind of far removed at this point. I've gone a holistic route here, but I
got a little street cred though.
Right. Yeah. I'm still, well read and well versed in all of this such and such and so and so. So Bo loves the little things that I say that don't make sense, but they make sense to me.
They make sense.
Anyways, have a little fun, you guys. Be free. Stop being so rigid in your vocabulary. Anyways, so this virus, trust me. You can trust me.
She's the Joe Camel of coronavirus.
Oh my God. That's great. The corona is delicious and tastes like candy.
So there are certain PPE, there's certain protective equipment that you wear depending on the type of precautions you need to take. Maybe there's contact precaution, droplet precaution, airborne precautions, etc., etc. There are specific things. People have read this, people hear this. I don't need to say it again, but I'm more concerned, honey. I'm not concerned about the physical distance. I'm not concerned about the physical distancing. I think that does help. That is true. That is correct. The proximity absolutely is true. If I sneeze on you right here, that's going to hit your face.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you do it from 6 feet away and you're wearing a mask and you also like are turning away, then the likelihood of any of
Exactly.
that stuff getting out of the mask and
Exactly.
traveling to you at 6 feet
Exactly.
away is
Exactly.
Sure.
severely reduced.
Exactly. So we're reducing the
Yeah.
likelihood. So there are specific masks that you're supposed to be wearing with this type of precaution that you're supposed to be taking. That's the N95 mask. Now, in nursing school, we were told, and it was drilled into our heads, that if we ever go into an isolation room with a patient with this type of precaution, you have to wear an N95 mask. If you are wearing any type of mask and go in that room, you can get it. You will get it. You can get it. That is the worst thing that you can do for yourself. You cannot go in the room without that N95. So all of us people walking around with these half-assed masks that are not N95 masks,
Yeah.
that's what I have a problem with. What's that really going to do? I
Uh,
suppose it will a little bit lower, the chances, the odds. It will deter it slightly, but you're still at risk if you're not wearing the proper PPE.
yeah. I have my mask. It says in something. Is that right? But it's got a big old filter thing on the front of it.
That's cool, Jeffrey J. Does it really? You have an N95 mask?
I
That's
think
cool.
so. I gotta see.
But here's what I'm saying too, and it goes in line with what you're saying. What, like, I think it's quite literally a veil of security.
Wow, Jeffrey
Like,
J.
Yeah. Flex. Yeah, weird flex.
In to all of us who don't have those
I'm
masks.
flexing.
Cassidy's grandma made masks out of her bras.
Oh my god.
She did.
Yeah.
She called me. Her and her Filipino friends. They gathered together all their bras they didn't need anymore, and they made masks out of the bras.
Why don't they need them anymore?
I don't know.
I like that you're trying to figure out like what size you are. Like, ooh, your grandma so and so. Like, you got a really big head. And like Jack and Elise, they would have like my bra.
That's so funny. Well, my point is
That's
not to
funny.
scare people, right? To tell you, well, you guys are screwed because you don't have the proper mask. My point is that if you haven't caught it by now and you're not wearing the proper mask, that's something to consider.
Hmm.
Also, here's where I say this is all sort of a veil of security. Like, people are like wearing masks, but then doing all these other things that make no sense. Like, I was I was at the park. This is like kind of in the beginning of the quarantini stuff, like, late March, early April, and like some girl. I was parked in the car, like ready to get the kids out of the car, and at the park, the same giant park. And this girl was running with her tiny dogs, and she fell really hard and twisted her ankle.
Oh my God, why is that funny?
It's just great. And then so she went down like a ton of bricks, and then and her mom and her grandma were there, and like would not go near her. And then these two guys walked by, like these two older men walked by, and they like one of them put on, like they both like put on masks, right? Because they were gonna help this girl up. I can't leave my kids in the car. That's my defense, right?
Yeah.
And I'm laughing way too hard. And then, oh, it's not funny when you see somebody having a great time and then they're running and they fall really hard.
Well, I think it would have been
Hilarious.
funny if you hadn't have said that she twisted her ankle really bad.
Well, I don't think it was that bad, but well, I didn't think it was that bad. I think she was being dramatic. I think she's a
Okay.
jerk to her mom.
That's different. You have to say that she was like being one of those, oh, I'm embarrassed, so I'm acting like I'm more hurt than I am.
That's
When
how I felt. That's the impression I
when
got.
you say that, that's
Anyway, it's very funny.
hilarious. But the way you
Is the one.
describe it sounded horrible.
No, here's why it's funny is because when somebody is like being silly, like doing something goofy, and she was like, like making a scene purposefully, like, I'm running with my dogs, and like not like, oh, she was just having genuinely so much fun, but like, oh, I'm being goofy. Look at me, mom. Ah! Like I'm running through the park. Ah! And like being silly, like, kind of skipping, and then you do something hilarious to yourself. Oprah calls those God winks. She went down like a ton of bricks. It was really fun. Anyways, everybody thought so. Mostly me and Jack. And then so these two guys are like, we'll help you. And then they like strap on masks. Meanwhile, these two guys are like standing together and didn't have a mask on, right? Like they're just walking side by side, didn't have masks on. But now they're gonna go and help this this girl with the hurt ankle. So they put on masks. One guy puts on gloves, the other guy does not. And then they go and pick her up and just sling her over their arms, right? Like they like put her armpit is on them, like.
Oh.
And I'm like, what are we doing here? You didn't do anything. You're not doing anything to stop this stuff. Also, guess what? It goes in your eyeballs anyways. So
Yeah.
if you're not goggles, you effed. Okay, forget it. Forget it. It's all bullshit. Either stay at home or don't. And like for me, with the like restaurants, cool. You want to have people wear masks? I totally get it. I'm not going. I'm not going to restaurants anymore.
You mean to eat in or to pick up? Will you pick up in a restaurant?
I'm not that likely to pick up, just because it's interesting, because now I'm just more aware of oh man, all these people from God knows where are handling this food and doing whatever. And so it's always been the case, but now I'm just more aware of it. But ultimately, yeah, like if I'm going to a restaurant, I'm not that lazy that I'm willing to go through the slight, what I believe to be an inconvenience of having to wear a mask. It's not enjoyable to me. It's weird to me. It makes me uncomfortable to be in a mask. And so, yes, if I go into your establishment, I will wear a mask. But I'm less likely to go into your establishment. Like I don't like not because I'm mad at you, but because I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And again, doesn't make a lot of sense that I'm going to take off my mask and then eat a bunch of food. And then it just doesn't make any sense to me. I get what you're saying. There's a reduction, but also I'm not afraid. I'm just not afraid. I'm just not afraid.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Of passing it on. I'm not like, I'm
Yeah.
not going to do anything to put other people blatantly in danger. But yeah,
Yeah.
not, like, look, I wash my hands a bunch more than I ever did, but I also take fewer showers, and I've just really gotten funkier.
And we're probably wearing the same outfits like 3 days in a row. Do you do that every day? Do you wear the same clothes?
I only change if I know that I've worn the shirt on the podcast before.
And usually you're not wearing any pants, like right now, right?
Yeah, right now I've dirtied up my pair of pants, my one pair. No, I've got my things that I wear on screens, like the Hippie Dippy show and then JJ Time, and then other than those two, I just got like 2 outfits that are house outfits.
Yeah.
That's so funny. So I'll say something that's a little bit hippy dippy about restaurants and food. If you think about it, if you believe in energy, and right, we're supposed to be mindful about the food that we're consuming and the energy that we put into our food, and like food tastes better when it's made with love, right, versus food like when you're angry. People really people know about that, right? This is something people know and hear. So now I have a bunch of people that are afraid and anxious, to be out and about and be in restaurant and service. And these people are putting their worried, anxiety, frustration, anger, energy into the food that I'm eating. So I'm just like in a conundrum, because I was there. I understand the life of a server. I was not paycheck to paycheck. I was tips to tips. Mm-hmm. That's what I was. And now the tips are not even really coming in. I want to support, right? Because I was there, but I also don't want to consume food that's full of fear and anxiety.
Yes, I will tell you though, my favorite chef that I like, he's the most amazing person. He survived cancer. He's in his 60s. He's just the most lovely person. When I work there, he says, "I make food for your girlfriend." And he makes food
Oh,
for that I can bring home, that he always makes enough even though we get one server lunch or whatever. He makes enough so that I can bring home food to Emma, and he knows what she likes too, and so he'll do that. He is so incredibly grateful to have a job. He
mm,
cannot get unemployment. He did not get a stimulus check, and
mm,
he is so incredibly grateful to have the job. And the only reason is because we have these lovely humans who do still come in and choose to support us as a restaurant. And there's a lot of like, because the restaurant is an incredible, it's very high end sushi.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have some very rich clientele who they come out and they do and they go, "We're only here because we don't want you guys to go under."
that's beautiful.
It is.
That's
It's
cool.
awesome. And
Yeah.
then I mean, and it's so there's the other side of it too, where I totally get it. And this is why these things are so complex too, because you just don't know what to believe. And maybe it's because I'm forcefully agreeing with everything everyone says when they walk in. But
Right.
uh, it's so hard too. I also went back to work at a place that pays me 1/4 of what unemployment would pay me.
It's so crazy.
I am losing out on 3/4 of the money because there's a man who once hired me at a time when I really needed a job, and I'm choosing to be there for him right now. And I'm physically losing money because of it, and time that I could be spending, and so many other things. But it's also one of those moments where I say, I know that I'm doing the right thing at this moment, as painful as some of it might be.
Mm.
I know that this is gonna, it's gonna be worth it. Who knows how it's gonna come to me, but something good's coming because I'm doing the right things.
Yeah, that's really special. Like to be, you know, I love the message about supporting the local businesses. I think that's so important. Um, and but also supporting our friends and the people that have been there for us. Like this whole time has been an opportunity to do that, you know. And we've talked a lot throughout um, this whole global event on our podcast. You know, the power of connecting and being there for each other, and yeah, I think that's beautiful, Jeffrey, to be paying it back, you know, somebody who did something for you. um and yeah, you're repaying that karma no matter what comes to you from this. Like you're giving back to somebody who gave to you when you needed it, you know. That's really beautiful, man. I
Yeah.
love it. So
Y'all are
good.
lovely. Um, yeah, and I think that's a lesson too for everyone to remember, anyways, is that, be kind to people. I think we've seen how people are being very responsible. I find that people are less likely to do that artist thing and want things for free.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
and that's been lovely to
yeah.
actually support each other and give back when you get something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's been really, really cool to see too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and do what and honestly, and even if it's not like a monetary exchange, it's a something exchange of gratitude. Like we had a friend recently who baked us some bread. She baked us some homemade bread. I mean, that was so beautiful to receive. What a gift.
And so I came over and you had home baked bread and you selfishly just kept all the bread. Just give me that home baked bread?
I totally forgot.
I'm
But
just
I
kidding.
did give you that vegan lasagna that I had made for a meal train that
Oh
I
my
made
god.
for us.
First of all, that was the most delicious lasagna I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
That was
Whoa.
so good. And no, and again, I'm not accusing you, but I'm just saying that home baked bread is probably the most amazing gift anybody can give you.
It's pretty
Yes,
special.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it? It's the best thing that's come out of quarantine. I firmly believe it. The fact that more people are baking their own bread, I can't do it. And I'm good at, a decent amount of cooking stuff. Bread's hard.
It's tough one. It's tough one. This was a delicious, was it sourdough?
Oh,
I don't even know. It didn't even matter.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what I was eating. I just knew it was delicious bread.
crusty, delicious home baked bread.
Yeah, no, I think things like that. Well, yeah, and speaking of the meal train, like, I think about people that have had to postpone their weddings due to this stuff, and people that are having babies during this time where you mostly have to go to a hospital, unless you have, you know, different plans, and even then, a lot of those are getting sort of rerouted. And but yeah, like just being there for people like that, and that is something that Cassidy did, was she set up a meal train.
Yeah,
It's,
tell us about Meal Train, because I saw you post about something, and I was like, what is this train, and how do I get
sounds
on it?
delicious. Yeah.
Well, what two things were cool about that is one of our friends.
What is a meal train?
One of our friends is pregnant or was pregnant, and then she ended up having her baby. And so what you can do even outside of quarantine times is set up a meal train. So it's a website, mealtrain.com. And then you type up, a little bio, what this purpose is. For example, one of my mentors in San Francisco, she is going through radiation therapy for breast cancer. She set up a meal train because she can't, be going in and out of the house, especially right now. And so people are just dropping off food on her doorstep. You can type in your likes, dislikes, preferences, food aversions or allergies. You can type in restaurants, you can type in grocery stores. People can just send you money, people can send you gift cards. You can have takeout delivered, to that person's doorstep. Whatever, and it's so beautiful. And so it's, you select all the calendar months that you would like your meal chain to be open to, and people just sign up. You send out the email to whoever wants to participate, whoever's in your circle, your community. And then you can also just post it publicly on your Facebook. For example, because she's a mom, she's a new mother, she posted it on her Facebook and tagged me in it. And one of my friends, who doesn't even really know her personally, is a beautiful mom herself, signed up twice and has brought food. So I mean, it's just a really, really awesome way to commune and
That
to support one another.
does sound awesome
Yeah.
and so easy to abuse.
What?
That just
Oh.
I
sounds
set
like,
one up for myself the other day. I was pretty tired.
yeah.
And said,
I Yeah, I only eat porterhouses. Like, I would just. Are you kidding me? Oh, I'm sorry. I only need vodka.
Oh.
Just, just a train of alcohol coming nonstop. Just, I mean, it's really a great idea, but I just feels to me like it could be one of those, what is it? Not Patreon. What am I thinking of?
go fund me.
Yeah, go
Go
fund
feed me.
me. Yeah, go feed me.
Go feed me.
I only eat Domino's pizza.
Yeah. Go feed me.
Ew. And number two that was cool about that is that we had a virtual blessing way. So blessing way is a motherhood ceremony, and I don't even like to use that term virtual, but I'll say it just so that we can have a visual there. So it was over Zoom, and we all gathered, us women gathered for her to support her, and encourage her. Words of encouragement. We did a little meditation. We got to talk to her about her fears. So this is different than a baby shower, because baby shower is about the baby, right? You're playing fun baby games. You bring, presents for the baby.
Penis straws.
That's
Yeah.
a different party.
Oh, gotcha. That's gender reveal. You're right.
No, another different party.
Oh god, that's so amazing
So
though.
we did it online on Zoom, and this is another thing that I've seen a lot of women talking about, openly expressing that they're just devastated that they can't have these baby showers, that they can't have these gatherings, that it's just not the same, and that is true. My friend and one of the owners of our yoga studio, she brought up a really great point. Let's change our language. So instead of but, we say and. So in an example, I had a baby shower, but it was on Zoom, so it wasn't the same. Okay.
Mm.
Now, I had a baby shower. It was on Zoom. And it wasn't the same. It was difficult and it was beautiful. Like, why does it have to be but? It was difficult, or it was beautiful, but it was difficult, right? So
Mm,
it's just a
Yeah.
different way of thinking. It's putting the positive, first and identifying the dark, right? Identifying the heaviness, like not putting one higher than the other. The but
mm.
displaces that. The but puts something higher than the other.
Yeah. Sorry. You
Is
can't
that
say
what
but that many times and not eventually get to me. Just like, let's
But
replace this but.
no, I think that's great because what it's doing too is it's just allowing both to coexist.
Yeah.
It's acknowledging what is, which we talk a lot about. Just accepting what is, but not saying that yeah, this was this, but it was that. Meaning, oh, this was beautiful, but the beauty was taken away by the fact that it was difficult. No, it was beautiful,
Yeah.
difficult, and that's okay. Whatever.
Yeah, it's okay to acknowledge the negatives that happened because too I'll find myself trying to be too positive and tell myself like, "Oh, it was even better that way." And it was like it was really great, but I miss blank. I miss
Right,
having a party inside of a children's gym. I
right, right.
miss this play area. Not me. uh,
I miss, partying it up in a children's gym, tiny weights everywhere. Me just, woo!
No, but Kite Party was fun and so different, and I don't think I would have thought of the idea had it not been for the fact that we were needing to be kind of socially distanced. And
Yeah,
kiting is a naturally social distance thing. So when you have to think outside of the box, you end up with different ideas.
That
yeah.
was absolutely brilliant. Can I ask you guys one question? This is it's coming up in my mind right
Off the record.
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Sure. Would you consider yourselves to be optimists?
yeah, 100%, yeah.
Why?
Why? Because I think I can see most things as an adventure, and I want to see the good in things. It's something I genuinely want for myself. And that when negativity is around me, I want to make that better for people. And I want, at the end of people's lives, I want them to say that their life was better in some way because I was in it.
That's really beautiful, Jeffrey J. And what about you, honey? Would you consider yourself to be an optimist?
Totally, yeah. I mean, because remember a couple weeks ago when you were like, "What if this is the end of humanity?" I was like, "Then it's for the best." Like, so the fact that I can look at things and be like, "Oh, if humanity is wiped out by a virus or any event,
Yeah.
I know that I have faith. Faith is what makes me an optimist. My faith is in that the good keeps growing, that everything is purposeful and moving in the direction that it is meant
Yeah.
to grow the light in the world, even if that means everybody's wiped out. It's not like, oh, we lost. It's like, oh, no, things are going to restart and be different. I won't be here, but shit, I'm not going to be here for most of it. I haven't been here for most of this world. What the hell do I care?
I like that you can almost be negative about the fact that you're an optimist.
Yeah.
These are like the most amazing thing ever. Oh, everyone's dead? It was probably good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We probably sucks worse than we thought, anyways.
Oh, that lady fell in a park and she's hurt and embarrassed. Brought us joy.
Hilarious.
Yeah. So now, you, Cassidy, how do you see yourself then?
So someone said that to me recently. They said that, I'm an optimist. And and I said, hmm. And I Googled the definition of what it means to be an optimist. I know what that means. I just really
Yeah.
wanted to lean into that definition and see, am I an optimist? because I feel like an optimist can have some of that toxic positivity and have some of that spiritual bypassing. And I don't see myself as an optimist. Like you were just saying, Jeffrey J, you want to help heal like the negativity and stuff. And I don't want to heal the negativity. I want that pain to still exist. It's not my ideal situation. I don't want trauma to have happened to you, but I want to embrace that trauma and see it for what it is. I want to send love and kindness to that trauma. I want to see it as sacred because it happened. And we can't take it back, right? Again, it's not my ideal, but it does happen. So I hold equal value on these light aspects as well as I have the dark aspects. So it's kind of a little bit about what you're both saying. Yeah, so I'm kind of like meditating on that word optimist right now because I don't think I'm necessarily an optimist. You can be a positive person and not be an optimist because I do believe an optimist can overlook.
But don't you expect that good things are going to happen to you because you do good? Don't you
I
see
don't
that
I
you
don't
create good?
I don't expect good things to happen because I'm doing good things. I do not have an expectation when I do something. I do something because I want to.
But don't you know that good things happen in the world because of the things that you do?
I do believe that I put out an energy so that I receive an energy. It's kind of like creating your own reality, but I don't want to have an expectation. And I've said this 1,000 times this week, but we watched Groundhog Day recently, and I've seriously had this like awakening since Groundhog Day. And if you haven't seen it, it's about this guy and he lives the same day over and over and over. Poor Bo, he's sick of me telling this
No, I
story.
love this.
I love that you've told the story of Groundhog's Day so many times that it's Groundhog's Day to Bo. He's like, I
That's
feel like you've
hilarious.
told this story 80 times.
That's funny.
So funny.
No, look, I've seen that movie a million times. She had never seen it. We watched it, and like, she's like, "So it's about," and I was like, "What she's about to say?" And I was like, "Shit, you're right. That's beautiful. Like, this is not just a hilarious." Now I know why it's such a universally loved movie. But
It's
so go ahead.
profound.
Go
It
ahead.
is so deep. So Bill Murray's character, he is resentful of everything in his life. He hates his job. He doesn't like the people in his life. They annoy him. He can't stand the location he's at. He just wants to get it over with. He's rude to everyone. He's angry and upset, right? He's got a lot of hurt. And then the next day he wakes up and it's the same day. And he's like, what the F is happening right now? He goes through the same day over and over. I don't know how many of the same days he has throughout the whole entire movie. And so there's a period of time, right, where he's experiencing this same day repetitiveness, and he just gets more and more angry, more and more resentful. Then he hits this pocket of emotion where he's just hopeless and thinking, well, this is going to be it forever. So F everyone. I'm not even going to care about anything.
He tries to kill himself.
He tries to kill himself. God knows how many times. And that still doesn't work. He's still living the same day over and over again. And so finally, he's out of options. He's been angry. He's been upset. He's been sad. He's been hopeless. He tried to end it all. Still not going to work.
And he also tried to do things to get things. Well, he did do positive things.
So this is my point. That's my point. So eventually, he's out of options, so he starts doing good things for a reason to get something out of it.
The order is different, but yes. Yeah. Once he does things like to try to get laid, for example, then and then it like ultimately doesn't even work anyways. Then that's when he gives up all hope and just tries to kill himself.
Got it. So then he realizes, wait a second. He gets this idea. If I start doing really nice things and I'm super nice to everyone, then maybe I'll get out of this day. So he starts doing things with an expectation. This is what I'm saying. I don't do things with an expectation. I just do them just because. So he's super nice to everyone, and then he goes to sleep and he's really happy, and he wakes up in the same bullshit. And he's like, what happened? Because I'm doing all of these super nice things. And so now even in that, he decides, throw in the towel. I'm just going to be good, because he's realizing that it makes people feel good I'm gonna be positive and happy in this present moment because it's making me happy. He's setting aside the fear, he's setting aside the anger, he's setting aside the resentment, and he's just going with it. With whatever happens, he does not even care anymore. So on that final day, he does not realize that this is going to be the last day that he's living this cycle, this loop. And his partner, his love interest, he tells her, I'm living this loop every single day. He's always telling her this. And so she says, what about tomorrow? What about 6 a.m. when you wake up? And he says, it doesn't matter because I'm happy right now.
Yeah.
And then he goes to sleep and he wakes up and it's a new day because
Yeah.
he chose a new perspective,
Yeah.
because he got out of that loop and decided to just be present, fully present with what is, and not, building off of the past, and not future forecasting, and not doing things for a reason or an outcome, and not attached, to whatever. He is happy, and he is happy then and there. And I am like so inspired by that. So is that optimism? I don't think so.
So, the one thing I will say is that I believe that because I don't do things with an expectation, I mean, with the exception of I know in my heart that if I put good out there, that that energy continues on. That's what I know, and I don't know where that shows up in my life, whether or not it even will affect me or someone else I love. So there is, I guess, some sort of an expectation. I expect good things to happen to people around me, and I know they will.
Because it's again, it's kind of what I was saying in terms of it's faith. It's knowing you don't have to be like, I'm doing this because I expect a good result for myself, but you're awake enough and conscious enough to and smart enough to be like, I see a pattern in my life where
Yeah.
when I'm in a good place and producing positivity, it comes back to me.
Yes, and I have one more thing to say on that, and then we do have to
Yeah.
basically get a little wrapped up. But I will say that if you believe that you create your own reality, I think you have to be an optimist. I don't think, unless you're the one person who believes that they create their own reality and he wants to create a world of shit. And you're just like, I create my own reality, I'm going to screw everything up. I think anyone who believes you create your own reality, you have to be an optimist because you're saying, I believe I have the power to create the world I want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want to have a philosophical discussion about this, and any listeners out there, I want to know, my question is optimism the same thing as faith, or is there some type of difference there? So I want to know, what's the difference? Why are there two different words? Optimism, faith. I mean, what's the difference? So please let me
Yeah,
know.
that's cool. Yeah, let us know about what you think about optimism and what qualifies and classifies and all of those things.
Yeah, and Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime. He's a transformer. We have a second if the kiddos aren't up yet, if you want to do a moment of relaxation to go out, a moment of reflection, a moment of gratitude.
Yeah, let's do a moment of gratitude, you guys. It's always really wonderful and nice. If you're driving, please don't close your eyes. If you're at home, I invite you to close your eyes or soften your gaze. You can take a moment to maybe sit a little taller, loop your shoulder heads up, back, down, and around to give your heart some space here. Okay, so broaden your collarbone. And then take a deep breath. Fill up, feel your chest rise, your side ribs expand, and then open your mouth, sigh. One more time like this. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, open mouth, sigh. Give your energy some noise, give it an expression, a voice, some type of outlet, okay? There is no need to compartmentalize, to compact, to avoid energy experience, emotion, whatever it is. There's no need to do that. Whether it's in the privacy of your own home, maybe in a journal, let that energy have a voice. Let it come up. Maybe you're feeling right now, check in We didn't do a little check-in. So check in with yourself. What am I feeling right here, right now? You could be feeling some peace, a little bit of joy from laughing, maybe feeling related to. You might be working with some anxiety, some frustration. However you are, I invite you to lean into the knowledge that it is perfect, that yes, it is for a higher good and purpose. And hey, is that optimism or is that faith? I don't know. But allow a smile to come to your mouth, to your lips. One more big breath here. Exhale. And as you exhale, we lean into the present moment. Open up your eyes. Come back into your body in this place. Thank you for listening, you guys. Please send us your comments, your feedback, anything you'd like to explore with us. We are open and willing to do so.
Yes, and a special shout out to Luis for always sharing the show and commenting, and he's just been a really wonderful one of our listeners and viewers that we appreciate. Thanks for sharing the show, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody else who's doing it too.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.